Welcome back to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host, John. I'm back with my bestie, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you is the real
How
question.
do you, how do you like my new sick voice? I think it's kind of cool. Makes me sound like I'm really in radio now.
Yeah, like you've been smoking a pack a day for the last 50 years.
I know it's great for your cardio too, by the way. If anyone wants to give that a shot.
You you have to give just like a 2-second overview of what you've been going through
All right.
lately.
Well, before I do that, I'm going to introduce our guest. Ashley Jerue is on. Ashley, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, John.
I was telling Ashley off the air what happened. I just got really sick, dude. Um, I got sick before Thanksgiving, for the record. Had a really
Okay.
nasty sinus infection. Felt like hell for about a week and a half. And then I got well just in time to go to Wheelwad. I had about a 5-day window where I felt great. Got in a couple of workouts and I got back from Wheelwad. And about the day after I got back, a cough started and it was like a mild cough, no big deal. Second day rolls around, cough gets much worse. Day 3 rolls around and I get hit with a fever and nausea. And man, it escalated from there and it got really
Mm.
ugly for a full week, like a fever that would not go away. It was like having a sinus infection and the flu at the same time. It was
Hmm.
just miserable.
Just a
And
gnarly virus?
yeah, it lasted for a week. Finally, I'm under the care of a CrossFit doctor, from
Right.
Wild Health. And so we were going back and forth via text, like what we thought it was. And we kind of initially thought it was pneumonia based on the symptoms. And it started to get better. And then it got worse again. Fever kept coming back. So finally he's like, dude, go to the ER. We can run all the tests in one place. So I spent the whole day up at Hillcrest Hospital, which is fantastic, by the way. The American medical system is really a wonder. It really is.
Yeah, we can do
And
some crazy shit these days.
yeah, it was amazing. So, they tested everything and I tested negative for everything.
Really?
COVID, RSV, flu, strep, like anything they could test, they tested. And finally, there was like, well, it's a mystery virus. We don't know. And eventually, the fever broke and started to get better. So I'm kind of on the mend. So this is my second day of trying to use my voice. So exciting stuff.
Yay. Yay. Well,
Yeah,
I'm glad that you're doing better, but what a pain in the ass just to be so sick for so long.
yeah. It was Ashley and I were talking about this. It's like the longest I've been out of the gym in 10 years. And
Oh,
today was my first workout back. And you have this anxiety that you're gonna lose all your fitness in 2 weeks. Like it's all gone now. Everything I've done for the last decade is gone. And it wasn't. I was fine today.
yeah. Or are you like so fresh because like your muscles are like so not sore for like the first time in 10 years that
Well,
you're ready to just kick it
I
back in the
actually sent a
gym?
message to my partners and coaches and like, hey, if you ever want to know how to heal a busted shoulder and some wrecked wrists, just take 2 weeks off because they feel great right now. Like
Uh-huh.
that shoulder that's been messed up for a few weeks feels really fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to look at, my training for Wadapalooza as this is a big positive that I gave my body a couple of weeks rest
Yep.
and now I can ramp up for the next 3 and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so not
Yeah.
much fun. I'm feeling a lot more empathy for people that have to spend time in hospitals and have
Yeah.
chronic illnesses because, if I weren't fit and weren't actively involved in CrossFit and had a good nutrition strategy, this could have been a lot worse. So,
Totally. Yeah, 100%. That's
so
true. I had a sort of similar experience in the gym just yesterday, not because I've been sick, but just because like this entire quarter, and I've said it on the show a million times, like I work in e-com and D2C and Q4 is just our buying period. It's been insane. So like basically ever since like September, October, I'm lucky if I can make it to the gym like
right.
3 times a week. And I have just been, I'm just not very fit right now. It just is what it is. It's like this every year. But we did a squat clean workout yesterday. And anyone who knows me knows your girl does not like anything remotely related to a front squat. And it actually felt amazing for the first time basically ever in my life. And I'm like, oh, it's because I haven't been like wrecking my quads and my butt and my lower back every other day at the gym. And I'm actually kind of fresh to hit these lifts. So it was kind of wild.
So I guess that's the kind of the message to everyone is to take a couple of weeks off and you'll feel
Take
better.
break. Take a break. Crazy how that
Who,
works.
who knew that rest days were good for you? Who knew? You
Rest
know?
quarter. That's what I'm in right now.
Well, who's been working really hard is our guest.
That's right.
Very, very hard. And Your movie gets released here in just a few days, Movie Star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
December 27th on video on demand services. I
That
am.
is wild.
Yeah, it's going to be on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, and others, and right in time for New Year. So as people are getting kind of ramped up for their fitness goals, I think that's a really cool kind of inspirational thing for people to see. How excited are you?
Yeah.
I'm so excited, but like equal parts anxious and nervous about it. You know, it's this thing you kind of invested all this time and interest into, and you know, I'm not really part of that industry, so I don't know what to expect. But I hope everybody likes it as much as we enjoyed filming it.
Yeah. Well, let's back it up a little bit and introduce the movie in case people aren't aware. So, if you were at the games this past year, you might have seen the booth that has some information about the movie, or if you've been following on Instagram, maybe you see. But the movie is called Strong Enough, and Ashley is the star. And it's a really cool film that has a lot to do with the sport of CrossFit in the way that we know and love it. But Ashley, I'm going to let you explain the sort of high level plot of the film so that people can get a better understanding of your role in it.
Yeah, so Sam is the character I play, and it's the first drama around CrossFit, the first nonfiction. We can't actually use the word CrossFit, of course, because of how crazy they are.
We're gonna
about
call
their,
it functional
functional
fitness.
fitness.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
functional fitness movie. So it's about Sam, who is kind of trying to crowdsource and find some funding for a path to the games, because I think we all know CrossFit is not a cheap sport.
Mhm.
And as part of that, her coach has set up a sort of mock competition where she attempts to break some of the Guinness World Records that Reebok had the games athletes do back in 2017. And amongst all this, she's got, kind of personal drama going on that kind of feeds into it as she's trying to complete these feats throughout the film. That kind of make it a little bit more exciting than just watching somebody work out. So yeah, it's a cool movie. I think it only runs 71 minutes, so it won't take a ton of your time, but I think it's worth the watch.
It sounds like just a really interesting angle at something that we can all sort of relate to, right? And that's the beauty of CrossFit and the community and everything that we do. Like, this absolutely could have been a real life scenario. It could have been an athlete who, wanted to figure out how to fund her way into the biggest competition out there, and certainly like an accomplishment in breaking those world records that all of us who are fans of the sport would watch. So given the sort of like real life scenarios that went into this, how did you step into that role as an actress in this time? But that's not your main gig, right? And this is very much like a real life potential scenario. So what was that like for you to reconcile?
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, I've never done any acting before. So I mean, a lot of it was just spending a lot of time with John Foss, the director, and kind of walking me through kind of the tones and feel for what he was going for with Sam. I think because I didn't have a lot of acting experience, he let me kind of be Sam. She is so much of me. I have so much in common with her. So a lot of the mannerisms and things that she has are mine. Because I don't have that Natalie Portman-esque ability to kind of transform like that. So a lot of it was just, putting yourself in her shoes, kind of taking, my life and my scenarios and, imagine if instead of this, it was that. And how you would respond if that were the case. So it was a lot of studying, a lot of time spent reviewing, some classic films. We watched like The Fighter, Million Dollar Baby, some
Yeah,
of the
so
ones like
good.
Michelle Rodriguez had never acted before that movie. So that was a really cool one to get to see and kind of the tone behind it. Creed was another really good one, the Michael B. Jordan version, just for kind of the mood that we were going for.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. And how did they land on you? Like, how did you become Sam? Sam became you of all people.
Yeah. So I guess they had done some casting calls, some of like the traditional Hollywood style just auditions. But that obviously didn't work out. So they started reaching out to some of the other, higher level athletes, some higher profile athletes, and eventually wound up just going down the open leaderboard from 2020. And obviously they've got like a series of demographics and location and that kind of thing, and shot me an Instagram DM of
Stop it. No.
Yeah.
They were like, hey bitch, you want to be in a movie? And that was it?
Yeah, well, and
Get
I
out.
was gullible enough to be like, okay, sure.
Yeah, it sounds great. They want to be in a movie. Yeah.
Quick Google search was good enough. And I was like, okay,
Yeah. You guys, these guys are legit. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? And then what was the process like from there?
Yeah. So we did a couple video calls. He gave me, part of the script or what would eventually change into the script. And I did 2 virtual auditions, and then they flew me out to Utah where we filmed, and did a couple screen tests and some personality tests with the gentleman who would end up being Charlie, Noah Kirshnick. And then, we had about a week of rehearsal, and then I flew back and did a quick competition and flew back, and then we filmed for a couple weeks.
That's wild.
It was so much.
You're just fitting this casual movie filming into your everyday life. Well, and I do think that it's unique. I mean, to shoot over the course of like a week or 2 kind of, and to mine for talent that is sort of within our CrossFit community versus within traditional Hollywood or even acting background. All of this is really unique for a film that I feel like, and I've seen parts of it, so I'm speaking from a little bit of experience. I feel like it's kind of gritty. It's very much, it speaks to us and what we're used to in the box, in grinding every day. And I think the slew of kind of more famous films that you mentioned also lends itself to that tone. It's a little darker. It's a little more serious. It's a little more gritty kind of in general. And I feel like that's part of the goal here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, they wanted it to feel real. The rest of the cast were real actors and kind of had time to prepare for what that meant. But for me, it was, talking with the director who at the time, didn't do CrossFit. And
get out.
I did make him do some classes, and because we filmed at a real gym. I can talk about that later. But yeah, so we wanted it to feel real. Every day in the gym is not, sunshine and rainbows. It's not beautiful. Training is not pretty. I think I've heard over and over again that 30-30-30 rule. 30% of the time is going to be great. 30% of the time is going to be shitty. 30% of the time is going to be mediocre. And I think this film kind of somehow in the span of what is a day for the movie manages to kind of show all 3 of those.
With what intention do you think? Like at the end of the day, focusing on the reality and of the 30-30-30 and of the grittiness and of the community even, like what's sort of the intention behind this movie even existing?
Yeah. John really went out of his way to make this movie just kind of about empowerment and, being kind of your best self, pushing through the shitty 30. And realizing that those great 30 or even the mediocre 30 are worth it. And they're not something that are accomplished singularly in a silo. You've got everybody around you having those same 30-30-30s, having those same days, watching you have yours and helping you through the bad ones and congratulating you through the great ones. And I think he saw really quickly how obvious that is in the CrossFit community. At least at my gym, we have just this amazing group of people who are so supportive constantly, no matter where anybody is at. And so I hope that that's what comes across when people watch the movies, is how empowering it can be to push through the bad days, and kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel on those good days.
I love that.
I'm just sitting here thinking if I only had 30% mediocre, I'd be ecstatic.
I mean,
so happy with my performance. It would be so good. You guys shot this in a real, actual functioning gym though, right?
Yeah. So the director, one of his friends, happened to own Rock Canyon CrossFit where we filmed. So yeah, it's a real box, and it looks kind of like one of the original boxes, plywood walls, spray
Yeah.
painted wall ball targets, all of that. It's such a cool space. And they still held classes until 10 a.m. every day. So then we would come in and we would say, okay, where were we in filming? This 15-pound plate was actually in front of the 45-pound plate. Let's readjust everything. Let's move everything. They built a locker room into this gym that wasn't there. We had, some fake plumbing and everything going around it. And some of the members were extras in the movie as well, which was really cool. It also made it super convenient during filming. It wasn't like fake plates and everything. So it's like, okay, we're on break, or so-and-so is shooting their scene. So let's go hit some front squats. Let's go work out real quick. We got 5 minutes. Let's go.
That was actually one of my questions was, how much of this shooting did it wreck your training, help your training?
Did you break the world records? Did you do it in training?
So I did test them before, because that was kind of part of the audition. John wanted to know if it was possible. And so when I initially tested it, I got 3 of them. And I'll leave it to you to watch the movie to figure out if we break the rest.
Okay.
So yeah, the training, it was rough. So I was still working. I work in IT full time. And luckily with the time change and just my normally working early mornings, I would work until maybe an hour before filming, clean myself up and get to makeup. But I would the hotel was 3 miles from set. So I'd grab my gym bag, add some weight in it and just kind of ruck to the gym. Or like I said, during lunch, we had kind of the whole cast and crew doing a core circuit with us, which was really fun. So it wasn't great for training, but it came at a really good time for me to take kind of a more relaxed approach. So not wrecked. No. Quarterfinals last year actually went fairly well. So it worked out.
I'm curious,
Yeah, go ahead.
as this, someone asked in the comments, was this a movie or documentary? And it's clearly a movie, not a documentary, but I'm curious how much of it you felt yourself coming into it, where it almost felt documentary-like, meaning I know as a CrossFitter, I could see myself morphing into this role. We get so involved in our training and so involved in the day-to-day box. Did you find yourself getting that immersed in it where it felt more documentary-like than movie-like?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're doing the movements and we're actually trying to break these records. I didn't want to do 600 wall balls in one day. So it was like, okay, let's try and get it on this take. So there was some pressure there. But no, yeah, it felt like training some days. There's one record that, I mentioned to John when we started. I don't know if I can do this. This is not my forte. I can't promise you I will be able to successfully complete this record when it comes time to film. So we do it, and I, spoiler alert, I was able to do the record, and the whole cast and crew reacted. How my team members in my gym and my community might react, and how they have when I've had competitions at the gym or when we've done quarterfinals and the open and stuff at our gym. And, I went to dinner at one of the members' houses one night because they were just, so kind and welcoming. And, it felt so much like real life. And that's what you'd experience if you came to Cornerstone, my gym.
I love that.
Yeah. So Bruce asked an interesting question in the comment. Do you feel like, or in the comments section rather, do you feel like it hindered making the games? Well, I would love to know, Ashley, from you, where were you in your competitive journey while you were filming, and where are you now? They went on the leaderboard and found you, so you are obviously in the mix as far as the competitive CrossFitters go. What was happening during filming and at that during that season, and what's sort of on the forefront for you here?
Yeah, so last year was my second open ever. And it was the first year I'd been training with Sam Briggs and Maggie Perrin over at Cornerstone. So it was my first year really kind of experiencing that kind of volume, that level of training. Before that, it had been pretty much, I had a friend who would write some Olympic programming for me. I would do my own cardio and then I would do class. And that was basically it. So it was my first year trying to really be competitive. So I didn't have expectations. So that's why it was kind of a no-brainer to go out and do this movie. So, I don't know where I'm at. I just love to move. I love to train. I love my community. And when that stops being true, that's probably when I'll stop being quite so competitive. I think it'd be cool to make something like semifinals someday. But at the same time, I'm not like gung ho. I am not in some of the position that some of the more competitive athletes are. I've got a husband and a bunch of animals and a full-time job and a house and a lot of other things that do fulfill me. So I don't know. I don't even know if that answered your question at all. I don't feel like
it totally did.
The games was not even like anywhere near the horizon. But I do love like doing those workouts and testing workouts with Sam before she went to the fire academy and that kind of stuff.
Okay, most importantly, hold on. What animals do you have? Because when you moved, I saw a really cute hutch behind you, and I need to know what lives there.
We have 4 cats and 3 dogs.
What? Can I come over? Because that sounds like so much fun.
If you don't mind hair and being constantly covered in it. Absolutely.
Girl, I live that life on a daily. I saw a meme the other day, and this is like the truest thing about the holidays for me. The meme was something along the lines of like, apologies in advance for all of the dog hair that's about to get stuck in the tape that I use to wrap your gifts at Christmas. That is like, I've not ever stuck a piece of tape on wrapping paper that didn't have a piece of fucking dog hair on it. Like just everyone. I can't get it anywhere. I can't. John, do you have that problem with Bean or not so much?
Are you kidding me? It's like having 4 cats. Like
truly.
I mean, I have a long hair. He's a Persian, and there's hair everywhere. It's ridiculous. Like, and you just can't do anything about it. You think he's bald, like with the amount of hair that's constantly on the ground and like on my clothes, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's a total nightmare. So you just can't go anywhere without a lint roller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Couple Roombas. Yeah.
We have 2 Roombas.
Yep. They run twice a day.
I was thinking about getting one just to torture him, because I know he'd hate it, and just have it run all the time when I'm gone. Just give me like a sick little glee to know that it's just driving him crazy because he hates the vacuum as it is.
What if he loves it? What if he rides it?
He probably would.
Mm-hmm. He would sit on it and look at you like.
He might. You just can never tell. I mean, you can't tell with animals what they're going to like and not like. They're ridiculous, Bruce says it's probably what's in my throat. It probably is.
Hairball?
Yeah, it's probably just a hairball. I'm going to hack it out and clean myself. So now that you've done this, Ashley, any dreams of moving to Hollywood? You ready to change your IT job and get up to be an actress?
I don't know that there's very many casting calls for like muscular tattooed women. I mean, I'm open to it.
I think there's a lot of casting calls for that.
Maybe. I don't know if you ever watched like Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Andy Samberg.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows.
Like a Rosa Diaz. I think it'd be so fun.
Yeah, perfect. I can see that.
Maybe be like Rosa Smith.
Oh, there's so many. There's all that drama last week that. What's her name? Jennifer Lawrence was talking about the Hunger Games and how she was the first, female lead in an action film. And I'm like, have you ever seen Alien? Like, come on,
Right.
True.
But now there are so many, movies that have strong female leads in it. And, I'd love seeing more. But
not enough that look strong.
Yeah.
This is really important. I feel like this is something that more people need to talk about. And I feel like this was like sort of a mainstream discussion when the Wonder Woman movies were really gaining popularity because, Bruce just said in the chat, Brooke Ents is a great example.
Like the executive producer of this, right?
She is. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. But let me just finish my thought in saying that like Wonder Woman is a great example where like I love those movies and I love Gal Gadot. I think she's an incredible actress. I love everything about her. It did just bug me though that there was this whole suite of beautiful, strong, amazing Amazonian women who look the part. And then like a runway model playing the world's most strongest badass female superhero ever.
Right. And then if you look at like Justice League versus Wonder Woman, the Amazons were totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like, why would their superpowers be super strength and the men look like that? Superman looks like that. Batman, who's, you know, a rich dude in a suit, looks like that. But the women don't. Like
It doesn't
Captain
make
Marvel was also, you know, very petite. Like I love what Natalie Portman did for the new Thor movie, which, you know, whatever. But she, you know, she
I liked it. I liked it. I'm just saying I liked it.
It's a Marvel movie. It is exactly what
Yeah.
you would anticipate for a
Yeah.
Marvel movie. But she put on muscle, you know, and it was notable. She looked jacked, like she worked for that. And you hear about men in the industry training for these roles to change their shape, you know, Christian Bailing, if that can be a verb. And I love that she did that to some extent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me more about Brooke Enns' role in this film, because I think that's cool.
Yeah, so I really only met her when we did our booth at the games, and we didn't get to talk a ton. The hours she was there, I think we only overlapped by like 30 minutes because I wanted to go watch Emma McQuaid at the time. But I know she was kind of a big part of a lot of the initial writing, initial casting, just to get like insights for some of the lingo we use, some of the structure of CrossFit, how semifinals, quarterfinals works, how it used to work. So I know she was really helpful for John for that. But yeah, I really only very briefly met Brooke. Seems nice.
That's cool. It's cool that there's like just a lot of like real life insight from people who are within the community to make this very I don't know, reflective of something that could really happen. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, and what was cool too was so the girl who plays Monica, Lauren Fardos, was the only other kind of non-actress in the main set, and that's only because the actress they had casted had to kind of back out sort of last minute, so they grabbed a gym member to play the best friend. And so it was so nice to have somebody on set with me when I would say, you know, hey, I don't think the coach would cue this during that movement. Like they might say something like this instead. So to have, you know, some backup there was awesome. You know, she does some coaching as well on the side. So do I. So it was nice to be able to kind of lend our voices and have that support on set.
You know, actually, it's interesting. Nikki and I talk often on the show. We've had, I don't know how many episodes around body image and women. And, you know, it's kind of an interesting point of strong female leads and, you know, kind of looking the part. Have you given any thought at all of the impact you're going to have on others? I mean, you're playing a very strong female lead who's, you know, clearly working toward a goal and has, you know, commitment and dedication and building muscle and setting records and like kind of doing things that in movies have not traditionally been female roles. Have you given any thought as to, you know, how that's going to impact you and others?
Not so much to how it impacts me, but how I hope it impacts others is that we can see younger girls, you know, leaning towards things like strength sports earlier. You know, I remember growing up in gymnastics, you know, I had kind of visibly defined abs very early, which, you know, hints at genetics. But I remember, you know, being sort of ashamed of it. It was something the boys had, the girls didn't. And, you know, it made me feel weird. And, you know, I just hope that that's something that girls can start to see as empowering. I hope that's something that gets a little more normalized in the industry. I know it's not normal. You know, I know women who have bodies like mine, who have, you know, a lot of muscle, work very hard, and they are in a certain percentage of things. And not even necessarily the appearance, but the function of what their bodies do is what I hope is promoted from the film. You know, my stomach's kind of defined, and I don't want that to be what's consequential. I want it to be, you know, what I can accomplish because of what I've built through my body, because of the tool it can become. So, you know, I think there's a catch-22 there where you don't want it to go too far the other extreme either. So yeah, I don't know.
I love that because I'm busy trying to make my abs consequential, and I'm not having doing a very good job of it, to be honest.
I always joke it's just because my torso is so long that if I didn't, I would just kind of be like Gumby. So it's just more of like This is how I stay vertical.
I love it. It's just such an interesting thing to me, and we talk about it so often of how everyone is impacted with body image differently, and so I love the message of this movie. And I'm with you. I'm hopeful that young women, or just all women and men, will come away from this with a different vision of body image. And truthfully, for me, less body image and just more of what is the person trying to accomplish. Like, I think we
Yeah.
spend so much time focused on how this person looks. To your point, maybe visible abs or arms or shoulders or whatever, and maybe focus more on the message, in this case, of commitment and dedication and striving toward a goal.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just it. When we talk about normalizing a stronger woman or a woman with more muscle, it is like you said it well, Ashley, when you were like, it's not normal, and that there's a smaller percentage of people who might look like that because they're, a smaller percentage of people who put in the time and dedication and effort it takes to look like that. But by normalizing it, I think all that means is that it all of a sudden doesn't strike us as something inherently different. It's just another option of how to be. And so when we see someone in one of those roles, like we see a strong, muscular woman playing Wonder Woman or playing whatever, insert female role here, the goal is that it's so normal that women do or don't have muscle that you're just like, yeah, she looks like she's fit in the role. And not like, oh, dang, can you believe that they finally cast someone who looks like she lifts? Or like, okay, why does this woman not look like she fits the role? It's like, yeah, we put someone in there who fits the role and we don't really need to talk about it anymore because it makes sense. No one is looking at Superman and being like, oh, dang, he ripped. They're like, yeah, that's Superman. So I want the same normalizing for a female role when it seems like it should fit, that people are just like, oh yeah, that strong ass bitch is Wonder Woman. And it's not like, can you believe that she did curls for this role? That's what I mean by normalizing.
Yeah. And across all demographics, right?
Hell
Not
yeah.
just like body size. Like, we want to see that everywhere.
Yeah. It makes sense. We all saw those Amazons and we were like, yeah, those are
Yeah.
warrior women. Duh.
We held up the cave door that was
Hell,
falling.
the
And we
kid
were
was
like, yeah, she looks like she
amazing.
could do that.
Absolutely. It made sense. It wasn't like, I'm so glad they finally cast women who make sense. It's like, yeah, sometimes women look like that when they're strong Amazonian women. It's like it fits the role.
But when I watched Wonder Woman, I remember looking for Brooke Ence because she was a CrossFitter or was, in the space. And I remember being jealous of her arms, truthfully. Like,
Yeah, hell
they're
yeah.
swinging a hammer in that thing. I'm like, man, she is jacked. And I am jealous because I do a lot of barbell work and I don't look like that, Like, it's impressive, So I love that about these movies. I'm hopeful that people see that and realize what's possible, not, have the jealousy or the commentary of, what they want to impress upon others. So very
Let's
cool.
see that in clothes too. Okay, let's get something that fits like sports bras with flat chests and like broad backs. Can we get that in space? I don't feel like that's a huge ask.
No, I feel like there's
Hold on, I
there's
don't
so
know
much
what we're asking for. I don't
opportunity.
know what sports bras.
Vendetta.
What are we asking for? I don't wear sports bras. What are
We're
they?
asking for athletic wear that actually fits athletic bodies.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Are you not getting that from Noble, Reebok, Nike? Are they? I don't know.
To some extent, it's pretty hit or miss,
Yeah, I think every brand has certain cuts of things, right? Like every brand is trying to make, and I see it from I see it from all perspectives, right? Because from a brand's perspective, they're like, yeah, we're making athletic wear for athletic fits, but then there's also like ladies like me with huge tats who's got to get their boobies in there, and then there's like women who are all sorts of different shapes and sizes and lengths and whatever. So I see the difficulty, but certainly you're not the first person that I've heard to be like, well, I am an athletic woman, and how come I don't have anything that I can get over my shoulders that I work so hard to have? Like, come on.
Never claimed.
Right.
So why do we I'm a dude, so I'm just going to ask dude questions here. I
Bring it on.
don't know. Why is it? Is it because there aren't enough women that kind of fit the body types you guys are describing and they don't want to invest the money to do it, or they just don't know any better?
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that the demographic of women who need that type of a shape for activewear is not quite as large as a more gen pop shape and size, and so they would make more money selling to people who fit in that. Like this, right? Like why most brands make small, medium, and large and not the polar ends of either one of those size schemes is because they don't necessarily have as large of an audience, so they can't make as much money. I think it probably also boils down all the way, and I don't run a clothing brand, so I'm sure someone listening to this is like yelling at their computer right now. But I think it also boils down to like, you know, supply chains and minimum orders and putting brands who are trying to make money to survive also in a difficult position when it comes to like getting the stock that they would need to properly, like, I think it's all kind of complicated and annoying.
Can we get Ashley some shout outs, get her some sponsorships? Who you want, what you want to wear? You want Noble, Born Primitive? What do you want?
What do you want? John will get you what you want.
Okay.
John, I also need clothes. If that's all it takes, get
Well,
your homegirl over here some clothing too.
I get the impression that Born Primitive is pretty good for athletic wear. I mean, I don't wear it clearly, but
Born Primitive, speaking of like niche populations, Born Primitive, not a sponsored spot, but definitely should be, makes nursing sports bras that I wore almost exclusively. I wore them from Born Primitive and I wore them from a company called Sweat and Milk, which is like a really gross name. They should probably rebrand. I know. But that was like all that I wore when I was nursing a ton. Now I only nurse twice a day. Oh wait, I just kidding. I nurse all day because my baby won't
actually a sponsorship here. What do you want? So shout it out. We're going to figure this out for you. What do you like? What do you wear now?
What do I wear now? I've got like 10 pairs of, it's called Vitality. They're a brand that I actually went to college with one of the owners. They're a brand out of Denver. That's really cool. They're real big on body inclusivity. So they have quite a bit of variation. Again, I'm not sponsored or whatever. But their leggings are butter. Ugh. I love them. I have so many pairs, and they're super high-waisted, which is my jam.
Yeah, my faves.
Yeah.
They don't make high-waisted stuff for men. There's a good reason for that too, by the way.
What is the reason?
They all look like grandpas. You ever seen somebody's grandpa with their pants up around like?
Yeah, we look like grandpas too. Like
high-waisted leggings look great on women. On men, not so much.
Because you're not wearing a crop top, John.
That's it. You need to bring out the crop top.
Okay. Maybe I'll get some high-waisted leggings and a crop top for Whataburger. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think it's a hell of a good look.
Are you on a team there or individual, John?
No, I'm doing the gauntlet. I'm an idiot.
Oh, okay, cool.
I can't do anything halfway, Ashley. So like when I decided I was going to do the gauntlet, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to really start training my ass off. It's probably why I'm sick or got sick. Because it's not an easy workout, and I'm fingers crossed I'm going to get across the finish line, but
you will. You have time to heal.
I have no desire to I have zero desire to do like any kind of team stuff or even attend.
No?
I'm not a real athlete here. Like I'm 52 years old, so
I don't know. This training would beg to differ.
It is hard training. I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Ashley, are you going to do Whataburger or any other comps coming up?
I did Whataburger last year on a team of 3. We were RX. But not this year. No. If I go back, I would want it to be individual, and I want my swimming to improve. I only learned to swim like literally to keep myself afloat like a year and a couple months ago. So I'd like to be able to do a little more than that if I ever head back there. But it was a really cool competition. Obviously Miami in January, if you're from the Midwest, is a godsend. So
same. Yeah. Miami in January for us from New England is also going to be. Oh, did I say out loud that I booked it for the whole fam?
Did you?
I did. I know. I know. I was going back and forth on whether or not I wanted it to be my first kind of like solo mom trip away from the baby and the responsibilities of all things parenthood. Which Matt was totally supportive of, but it's going to be more fun if they're with me. It's just going to be more fun. Like, I don't know. I didn't want to be away. I'm going to be away for like 6 days too, just with like production and stuff. Yeah. I'm excited for you to see him too.
See my boy. I'm curious.
Also, I need to find us a sitter so that we can actually go to the after party. So if anyone wants to sit in my hotel room with my baby starting at 7 p.m. on Sunday night, y'all just let me know.
I bet we can figure that out.
Mhm.
I'm curious from both of you guys, since it came up that, I feel like I'm totally naive to this whole sports bra thing. Anything else?
Oh, what have I done?
Anything else in the female space you guys aren't getting from athletic wear to shoes to whatever? Like, I feel like as a dude, it's like, all right, shorts, shirt that you're not even going to wear, and shoes, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It's never really occurred to me that women have this issue of finding things that are proper for a body type.
Well, do you feel like that's a disadvantage? Because I do feel like for men, there's, shorts and a shirt. Like that's what you get. I don't feel like there's a lot of variety on styles for
Yeah,
sure.
but you gotta understand, for me, like I have my black shorts and my black shorts and my black t-shirt and my black t-shirts, and like that's kind of my black sweatpants and my black sweatpants. Like I'm very generic. So I know I appear to be stylish, Ashley, but I'm not.
I think that there's a lot like, and I think that this is like this for a lot of women, but I feel like also men probably would chime in. Like men of different shapes would have the same things to say, but maybe your shape doesn't necessarily have any outfit wardrobe malfunction issues. Matt's shape is the same. Like he can wear literally any if he like forgot his gym clothes and he was like, grab me a shirt and shorts, it would not matter which ones I got. I guess though, if you're a guy, there's a big question about like liner or linerless shorts.
Yes,
like that's the only
linerless.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, no liners. I don't like
Right.
that.
Right. So, but for me, if I like forgot what I was going to wear to the gym, it's like, okay, well, you can't grab just any leggings because are they mid-rise or high-rise today? You can't grab any shorts because are we running? Because your girl cannot run in short shorts because I'll start a fire. I can only run in like the long bike shorts. And are you going to grab a crop top? Is it like a big flowy loose crop? And am I bloated today? And did you get me the high-waisted pants, or is it the kind of crop that is like really, really cropped at my nipples? In which case, did you get me a long line bra? Is the bra that you got me the kind that's going to give me back fat? And then is my shirt too short, like, or too tight? This is just a lot.
I feel like there's a huge market for like customizable athletic wear. The human body is just so variable. Like there's no way we could please every body type. So, where's the brand that's taking measurements,
Ooh, I like that.
Now, I will say, have you ever used Constantly Varied gear? Have either of you ever used that?
No, but I love their designs.
So
their like patterns and styles are bomb.
I have a close friend that works there, and I know the owner, and a close friend that's her partner that works for her. I'll connect you guys, and you guys need to check them out. They make great stuff. I can't speak for the women's wear, but it's a company owned by women, designed by women.
Yeah, and you can see it with the styles. They have like really cute, like shimmery patterns. I love them. So cute.
When they just started making men's stuff, they sent me some shorts, and they're very cool, and some t-shirts, and I was really appreciative. But I'll connect you guys and see what they have.
There's a lot that goes into the fashion, but also like I care about that because I like fashion and I have fun with fashion, and I like, in a perfect world, if I didn't give a shit, grab me whatever leggings or shorts and shirt and I'll make it work, of course. But I do think that probably the one thing you really can't mess around with in that respect is the bra. Like it's going to fit us all so differently. We all have such different preferences that's kind of like the non-negotiable in terms of making sure it all fits right, or you really can't get your workout in,
Did,
well, especially those. Oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to ask if your character in the movie had a different style than you.
Yeah. So she actually wears Enswear in the movie, one of Brooke Ence's brands. I actually do love one of the outfits Monica has in the movie. But yeah, so like bright colors are not typically my thing. Not that I'm Wednesday Addams or anything. I do like darker tones, and
Great show though.
Skull themes and some of the stuff more like that. But I mean, yeah, she wears two outfits in their athletic clothes the whole time. So it's like, I'm sure other actors have worn way less comfortable. I wasn't in like a ghillie suit or anything.
Nice.
I had it pretty freaking good.
That's awesome. Or what were you going to say before I interrupted you?
Yeah.
It happened 2 seconds ago, so none of us remember.
We are so far past my bedtime. We're lucky. I'm still.
Girl, we kept you up. We have to record. We record past baby bedtime. That's how I make this work. Mm-hmm.
This stuff is always so interesting to me. Like, I create a lot of content, and I pride myself on being relatable. And so it's always important for me to learn like the struggles that women go through, because I don't live this stuff. Like,
I love that.
And it's really interesting though to hear, because men have our own issues, so I don't want to make this sound like men have life so easy and women have it so hard. But comparatively, comparatively, from I feel like from an apparel standpoint, I have it pretty easy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that there's probably dudes listening to this who are like, "Oh, I struggle because of my, insert
Absolutely.
size, shape, height, shoe size, whatever it may be, or personal style preferences even. Like if you're a dude who prefers crops, where are the crops for you? Where are the crops broad enough from a men? Where are
I
they?
like the crops on men. I think they look cool.
Same.
Well, and I feel like too, for a lot of the professionals in the sport who make their living, and a lot of it is through social media, so they can't just work out in anything. They have to kind of, there's a privilege to being attractive in the sport, and you can't say there's not, because that exists in every industry.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's something they have to be conscious of. And now it's limited to, is it functional and cute? Because I'm not going to spend 4 hours sweating my butt off in something that hurts, but then also something that, the 12-year-old trolls that John and I were talking about earlier are going to comment and say, oh my God, I can see your da-da-da-da. And I think you look like that. Not that that matters, but that's part of their brand is their visage, what they look like.
Right. Totally. No, that's all a lot to balance for sure. Oh, speaking of, I got a notification that my Girls Who Eat tank top is in my in my mailbox. I get to go pick it up. Yay. I logged on wicked late when it was like only XXLs left, and I was like, sounds good. So we'll see how it fits. I'm excited.
Supporting our girl Danny. I love it.
Heck yeah.
I love it. That's good stuff. If given the opportunity, Ashley, would this be your dream? Would you, if you could say, all right, give up the IT job, train for the games, make the games, would you do it?
No. And not even necessarily just giving up the IT job, which I do enjoy, and it does provide, a solid lifestyle. I'd actually love to transition into coaching full time at some point within the next few years. That's something that I've been doing for a few years now. I coached, gymnastics growing up and did some personal training in college. And, maybe it's because I love our gym so much, but I really love doing it. I coach our 5 and 6 a.m. classes, and I still every morning wake up excited to be there. So yeah, that's something I'm working on growing, on learning more and building. And that's something that I've been able to do, alongside training and work and life and all of that.
So you're the one sicko that gets excited to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. That's impressive.
Well, to be fair, most of my teams in my day job are in India, so I'm up pretty early anyway, so that I overlap a little bit more with them. So it's not usually too big a kick in the pants.
I was just telling our coaches at the gym, we had a team meeting over the weekend, and I was telling them, I'm like, man, 5 a.m. is just built different. Yeah. Like you have to be to be able to go in at 5 a.m. and that whole class is like, for the first 15 minutes, they're dead quiet, and all you can do is like heavy breathing and ankles creaking. That's it.
Oh, man. Especially and then max out day, you're like, at 5 a.m. Have you ever wanted to max out a lift at 5 a.m.?
Nope.
Oh, it's so hard.
I can't do it. I've been coaching for a long time, and there was a very long period where I coached the 5 and 6 a.m. classes, and I can get there. Well, I mean, now I can't because I don't know, in my mid 30s, I am now like a solidly do not even talk to me before 8 a.m. type person. But I can get there. I just can't perform. I don't understand how people have the oomph in their bodies that early, where they can hit their numbers, they can max out, they can breathe heavy. I can roll out of bed and I can get somewhere. That's about all you're getting from me.
nobody can max out at 5 a.m. They can get to their 5 a.m. max.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Like there's a difference. There's absolutely a
There
difference
is.
in what you can do
There
at
is.
5 a.m. and what you can do at 5 p.m. But it's just a different breed, man. People that are willing to have the, they're on their third breakfast by 9 a.m. Seriously.
When I worked in news and I was like a morning news anchor and I had to go to work at 3:30 in the morning, I was basically eating lunch at like 8, 9 a.m., right? Like by the time I would eat, this is back in the day, this is how this tradition started. I would eat my lunch, which sometimes would be like leftover dinner from the night before. And if we would get takeout, like if we would get sushi, I would bring it as my lunch and I would end up eating sushi at like 8 a.m.
Oh, your poor
Everyone thought was so weird. But ever since then, I have fallen in love with breakfast sushi. And so now, even to this day, like we'll like order sushi for dinner and I will over order so that I can eat breakfast sushi the next morning at a totally reasonable breakfast time.
I'm still listening, but he brought out the cat.
Yeah,
Hi,
Bean wanted to say
Bean.
hi. Sorry.
Oh, so cute.
Look how grumpy he looks right now.
Oh, he looks like he wants to kill you.
He's so
He's
done with
extra
me right now.
fluffy right now.
That's because my hand's on his tummy and he doesn't like his stomach to be touched.
It's okay. We need it.
Same girl, same.
Yeah.
He's just so grumpy all the time. The best. So good.
He's looking like extra floofy. Did you give him a bath recently?
He's extra fat. That's why.
Oh, there's that. Also same girl, same.
I think it's his winter coat. I think.
Yeah.
Or his winter fat. I don't know. It's one or the other.
Mm.
I feed him a lot. What can I tell you? He's a big boy. He is a big boy.
How much does he weigh?
That's a great question. Probably 13 pounds.
Dang.
Maybe.
What?
He's hefty.
Oh man.
Thick with 3 C's.
Yeah. I think our heaviest is like 8.
Oh, really?
Well,
what kind of dogs do you have?
Well, we've got a cattle dog who's about 50 pounds, chow something mix that's about 50, and then a cocker spaniel something mix that's like 20.
Nice. That's
the dogs are medium. 50 pounds was the limit in college for our apartment. So that's why the first one was 50 pounds. We said exactly.
Perfect.
Well, I want to make sure that we get all of our details in before we wrap this thing up. So this movie is released on the 27th, right? I mentioned earlier, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, and others. And it looks like there's an exclusive discounted pre-sale on Apple TV from December 22nd to the 25th for $6.99. $6.99. So it's right in time for Christmas. So
I would bring mine. This is one of them.
Oh, look at that baby.
I'm so pissed.
A big orange cat. Oh, I love that cat. Can I have that one?
So pretty.
He needs a sister or a brother, whichever that is.
Halloween cat. But yes, on sale now.
On sale now, December 22nd to the 25th for $6.99 on Apple TV. So go get it during those days and get the sale. So that's a big deal. So, and you can follow him on Instagram on Strong Enough the Movie, and your Instagram handle is @Jerue, ASHJERUE. If anyone wants to follow the movie star.
This would be a really fun Christmas present. If there's like a CrossFitter on your list and you need a little something, like if you were to just like, I don't know, buy them the thing, or even just give them a little like $6.99 something, just give them $7 whole and be like, this is for that new CrossFit movie. It's going to be really fun for you to watch. I love that idea.
Yeah. Play Mariah Carey in the background, call it a Christmas movie.
Perfect.
That's right.
And what I'm going to do, Nikki, is next time I go to Cincinnati to visit my kid, I'm going to drop in on Cornerstone, which is in Cincinnati.
Oh my gosh.
And work out with Ashley so I can prove to her that I'm far more than 30% mediocre.
Awesome. I love this plan. Love that for you.
It's a very good plan, I think.
Let me know. We've got a fun crew.
Well, Ashley, thank you for joining us. It's been super fun. I learned all about the movie and sports bras, which I was not expecting.
I hope that's what you came for.
It was. I came for the movie, but I'm leaving with the sports bras. It's great.
We're so educational.
Thanks for having me, and thanks, John Foss, Russ Kendall, Kaleidoscope Pictures.
Absolutely. Best of luck with the movie. We're excited for you. It was very nice to meet you, Nikki. Great to see you as always. Happy Hanukkah.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you
By
so
the
much.
way.
We started celebrating Hanukkah on Sunday, which was also Matt's 40th birthday. So it's a very special year.
And you have a very beautiful Christmas tree.
Ah, thank you very much.
And a very cute baby. We'll throw that in.
I mean, there's that.
So.
Yeah.
All right. For everyone listening, we appreciate you guys joining, and we will chat with you guys soon.